Okay, so I thought I'd make a video on feeding your fish. And so, what do you feed your fish? How do you feed your fish? And mainly what I want to look at here is there's a ton of different types of fish out there. And not all of them eat the same stuff, not all of them eat the same way. So first off, you can look at your fish. And if your fish has a mouth that's turned down towards the bottom, you've heard the term bottom feeder. Well, it's probably a bottom feeder. It's probably going to want to eat stuff off the bottom of the tank. So you'll want to get some sort of food that will sink to the bottom. If all you try to feed is stuff that floats to the top and never goes to the bottom, you'll be doing your fish with the downturned mouth a problem, a disservice. And an example of fish that have downturned mouth are like your cory cats, your loaches. Naturally, the goldfish have downturned mouths. So you'd want stuff that doesn't float, that more is of a sinking means for those fish. Then there's the fish that have the upturned mouth, that the mouth points up towards the top of the water. And stuff like that would be your betta, gouramis, like the African butterfly fish. Really, the arowanas have an upturned mouth. But you'd be able to look at it and see the mouth is pointed upwards. And those fish are designed to eat off of the top. So you would want more floating type foods for them. Because if you, say, throw a big piece of shrimp in for your arowana and it goes to the bottom of the tank and your poor arowana is trying to get a piece of shrimp off the bottom of the tank, it's not made to do that. Its mouth's pointing up and its food's down here. It's going to turn almost upside down to be able to get to it. That's not good for the fish. And so you've got your fish with mouths pointing down, fish with mouths pointing up, and then you get the fish that have the mouths pointing straight ahead. And the fish that have mouths pointing straight ahead, they can really eat off the bottom. They can eat off the top, or right directly in front of them out of the water column. And there's a number of fish like this. A lot of your cichlids and different live bears are like that. As far as I can think, most of the tetras and barbs are that way. And so a food that would float for a little while and then start to sink would be great for those fish. But just where the food is isn't the only thing to look at. You also want to look at what type of food is it. If your fish, you need to know your fish. If your fish is an herbivore, you don't need to be feeding heavy protein foods. You need to feed mostly vegetable matter. You don't need to be throwing like feeder fish in to feed a herbivore, and you don't need to be feeding only seaweed to a carnivore. So you need to know what type of food your fish eats in the wild. Is it an omnivore, a herbivore, a carnivore? What's it looking for? And with that, look at the ingredients on your fish foods that you feed, at the nutrition content. How much protein does it have? How much ash and filler and stuff like that does it have in it, to get the better foods for your fish. And it's good to know, how your fish works and stuff like that. Like some fish can't process a lot of protein. So if you give them higher protein foods, it's just going to pass straight through them. But, you know, a lot of these big time breeders and stuff are like, I only feed blah 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 food. Well, that's fine and dandy. How would you feel if you were only eating one type of food? If you were only eating, I don't know, macaroni and cheese for every meal? You know, we put the vitamins and stuff in it so that you have all your nutrients, but it's macaroni and cheese every meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It tastes like macaroni and cheese. It looks like macaroni and cheese. But you'll survive. So it's a good idea to give your fish a variety of foods. Not only so that they get a wide variety of the nutrients. If your one food is missing on something, the different varieties of foods that you would give it could get more variety in the nutrients. But also a variation in texture and color and taste. The wider variety of foods that your fish will eat, the wider variety of nutrients, and if something happens that you can't get fish food type A and you got to pick up fish food type B real quick, the fish won't be as picky about eating it. There will be more options for you as well as for your fish. But yeah, that's the main things I wanted to look at, was know your fish. Look at your fish. Look at the way its mouth faces to know what it prefers to eat as far as where it wants its food. And there's some exceptions to this. Some fish have mouth parts that are made for other purposes, like to hold on to rocks and fast moving streams. They may be meat eaters, but they have to have that suction type mouth to hang on the rocks so they don't get swept downstream. Doesn't mean that they want to like suck on algae. But for the most part, you can look at the fish's mouth and tell where it wants its food. And then do your research to find out what type of foods they prefer. Are they carnivores, herbivores, omnivores? Do they want meaty foods or more vegetable matter? Or what do they want as far as dietary needs? And then give them a variety of foods so they don't have to eat the same food every day. So they don't get bored with the food, that they are more flexible in their foods. And pay attention to your ingredients and your nutritional content of your food. What do you all feed your fish? Or do you have stuff to add to what I've said about how to feed your fish? Let me know in the comments. Sorry, don't mean to shake the camera so much. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you like what I'm doing here, give me a thumbs up here. You can also hit the subscribe button to see more. The little notification bell beside the subscribe button there will actually tell you when I've uploaded stuff. If you didn't like what I did, that's okay. It's not for everybody. You can hit the little thumbs down button too. Let me know. I might decide to do something different next time that you do like. And you could help me decide that. If you really, really liked what I did, there's a share button around here. I bet you can find it to hit that and tell your friends. Tell your friends, tell your family, get them all over here on this channel over here to see what's going on. And the more people we get talking about fish, the better time we can have, the bigger fish party and all that. So yeah, hit those buttons, and we'll see you next time.